Kondo, the kind and gentle, tidying up a sensation here in the US, Assertive. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. Marie Kondo is the author of The Life-Changing Magic to Tidying Up, the Japanese art of decluttering and organizing. She's a Japanese decluttering consultant and author in the United States, and she's gone absolutely viral and everyone is following her. And she has become a huge sensation here in the US in what she does. And even Tim Ferriss describes her as having one of the calmest voices he's ever heard. If you've ever seen her on a Netflix show or on TV, she seems very mellow, very soft-spoken. She has a very soothing voice. She's introverted, she's calm, she's gentle, she's very ladylike, very friendly, very empathetic, cheerful, nice. She's always smiling and very positive and light. The question is she assertive, even though she has all of those, likability traits? Now, a lot of people associate those types of characteristics with a more agreeable, more passive type of personality or communication style. Now, I can show you today that Marie Kondo, she displays assertive communication qualities very often, right? In the middle of all of that softness that she has. It's not by chance that she was able to reach the current levels of success that she has. It wasn't by being a people pleaser or passive. Here are 6 assertive behaviors of Marie Kondo. Number 1, she has very clear boundaries. Right? She knows how to set her boundaries. Let me give you some examples. Earlier in her career, she was very much a consultant for decluttering. Right? So she would visit people's homes and help them through the decluttering process of their own homes. Now, what happened is she would never declutter their homes for them. She made that boundary very clear for herself from the very beginning. In some interviews, she was asked if she was ever not able to assist a client declutter. And she said, well, yes, it has happened before when the client wanted her, right, Marie Kondo, to do the cleaning in their house instead of doing the cleaning themselves. And she was very clear on that boundary because she was the consultant. So she had to dismiss those clients. And, even though Marie Kondo, she is very much a celebrity these days, she also keeps her privacy. It's very important for her to maintain her privacy. So she absolutely does not allow any reporters to go into her house to video her, even though she's had a lot of pressure to do that. You know how it is, reporters these days. So she is in charge of her personal privacy boundaries. She maintains them and she communicates them very clearly, and they respect her. Not only that, she wrote her book, right, in about only 3 months. Hello, everyone. Hello, is Marie. In 3 months, she had to say no to anything else that would distract her from that goal. So yes, Marie Kondo has boundaries. Number 2, she speaks her mind without shame, right? She speaks her mind, even though she's an introvert. She still talks. She still shares her ideas. Let me show you some examples. She's delivered tons of presentations about her KonMari method, cleaning method, at Google, right, at Good Morning America, in all sorts of TV shows and networks. Even though she doesn't speak English, she had to fully rely on a translator, and she didn't feel bad about that. Also, as a sociology major, she didn't allow anyone to decide what major, right, what thesis she was going to do. She decided to write her thesis on what she loved, what sparked joy to her, what she was passionate about, which was at the time how to declutter her apartment. So it's very relevant to her. And also earlier in her career, she didn't just start writing her book without any direction or guidance or validation whatsoever. She pitched her book idea, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, at a publishing contest, right, in front of a bunch of people, and she won. And that's how she got her publisher and to sign the deal for her book. And also, she got validation and feedback on her idea before actually investing the time in writing it. And it went viral, as you guys have seen. Another thing she does is when clients, they deviate from her method, she's very clear about the importance for them to follow her method, her steps to declutter as she states them, instead of doing it their way. But she's not going to force them to do it, but she's very clear. She speaks up and says, hey, this is why you need to follow the steps the way that I recommend. So when she speaks, when she interacts with other people, when she's on camera, she's not shy about expressing her views, her emotions, right? When she's very animated with her facial expressions, with her body, she jumps, she does all sorts of funny things. So she does speak up. She does express herself. She doesn't worry about what other people think of her, right? She doesn't worry that, she might appear silly to some people.
Safe to assume that I am a crazy tidying fanatic. 片付けの変態だと思っていただければバッチリです。
So you were perfect to think that I'm a fanatic organizer.
When Marie Kondo speaks at events, for example, she always kind of does a demonstration of her spark joy concept, which is with a signature gesture that became a thing for her. And in the beginning it was silly, but now it's a signature thing.
When the item in your hand speaks in your heart, you will feel like this. Spark joy item. And zoom. You might find it strange. I know.
And she says in her talks, you guys might be thinking I'm a crazy lady, and that's fine. And then she explains her ideas. But she's also, like I said, she doesn't speak English. She's still learning, so she relies on a translator. Even when she did her US Netflix show, where she would go visit homes here in the US and help people through their decluttering process, she had a translator, but still, there was moments where they were communicating with the client without actually having the words as part of it. And she was very comfortable with that, right? There's so many reasons for her not to be comfortable in being in a place and in a TV show that millions of people are going to watch without actually speaking the language and capturing the nuances of the language. But then one of her clients even said, she seemed so comfortable, so I was comfortable. And every now and then we had to stop and laugh the way we were smiling at each other over all of the organizing. So her comfort passed that comfort on to others. And she didn't feel awkward at all about it. Also, she's also been, like most celebrities, right, target of a lot of criticism. So for example, there's another lady who accused her of stealing her vertical folding method, the way she folds things and keeps them kind of standing up. And Marie Kondo didn't really worry about it because she's like, this is only one sliver of what I do. She also there's tons of other criticism, and she doesn't worry about it. She doesn't even pay attention to it that much, right? Because this worry-free approach allows her to have joy, and you'll see her concept. It's all about maintaining joy. Next thing that makes her assertive, she is clear on what matters to her. She's very clear on what matters to her. And that's also part of her message, right? She's very aware of what she likes, what she doesn't like, what she wants, what she doesn't want. The very foundation of her decluttering method and philosophy is based on honing your ability to recognize your own values and what's important to you, what brings you joy, what doesn't bring you joy, to discard the stuff that doesn't bring you joy. And it's all about raising that self-awareness. And sure, she talks about it at a physical level in your home, but then she also brings it to a more soul kind of philosophy level and applies that to everything, to your life in general, to eliminate what doesn't make you happy. Marie Kondo also has the benefit of being very independent thinker, right? She thinks for herself, so she doesn't follow the mainstream people or thinking. She's chosen to live in accordance to a life that is joyful for her, whatever that means for her. So for example, even though she is on TV all the time and on social media a lot, right? She's publishing stuff. She hardly actually uses or spends any time consuming TV and social media. She's very intentional about how she decides to use her time. And she also had 2 daughters shortly after Her career really took off. And at that point, she was so clear on her priority to spend time with her family, right? So she had to say no a lot to a lot of things that are coming up on her career. And then a few years later, she's like, okay, now I want to shift back and focus more on my career. You know, the girls have grown up, and then she made that intentional shift. But she is the one who made those decisions to refocus on family and then career. She's also, as you know, very passionate about tidying up, and that is why she spends a lot of time tidying up, because she loves it, right? It's something that is important to her. So she truly embodies what sparks joy to her and in her life. The other thing she does to act and be assertive is that Marie Kondo, she stays poised in disagreement. She doesn't, she stays calm during disagreement. So for example, the KonMari method talks about taking items, right, like a cup, and thanking it, saying, hey, thank you for your service, before you discard it, which is a very normal thing in Japanese culture, where she came from, right, where she grew up. Now, when she was doing consulting with in the United States with the American clients weren't very comfortable, didn't really like this idea of thanking an inanimate object. What does she do? When there's disagreement, she doesn't back off, right? She doesn't force them to follow her method either, which would be aggressive. Instead, she wrote that she realized in that moment that she had to improve her communication. She had to communicate her concept better, right? She's like, you know what? I need to communicate better because they don't understand this concept that maybe the Japanese people understand easier. So she said at some point, this was a revelation. I know now that I must explain some aspects of my work more clearly. That is the mindset of an assertive person, because a passive person would just say, oh no, you don't have to do it. It's okay. It's all fine. Do whatever you want. An aggressive would force them, but she found the bridge, right? I need to communicate this more clearly. At some point, there was a tsunami of social media attacks, Twitter attacks on one of her comments about decluttering books, because she doesn't like to have more than 30 books. And she responded to that in a very calm and factual way about the misunderstanding, that was not her recommendation. It was to follow whatever number of books that was important for that person, right, for each individual. Another way she is very assertive is that she remains authentic at all levels. Marie Kondo is the image of authenticity. So, for example, her personal style, right? She brings her joy. She dresses up in a way that is very distinct of hers. So she always wears white because for her it symbolizes that tidiness. And she doesn't like to wear pants, right? She usually wears some long skirt or something like that. She's also very enthusiastic, very cheerful in her personality, and it shines through. She is what she is. She's also kind, very supportive, very empathetic of other people, understanding. She loves to praise people when they do a great job, when they're working hard, or when they're cleaning and tidying up. Marie Kondo is very assertive, even though she is mellow. She's super friendly with everyone. She's introverted. She likes to hang out with herself at home in the garden. She has clear boundaries. She speaks her mind. She shares her thoughts and her vision openly and often. She doesn't worry about what other people think of her, right? She has this independent thinking. She remains authentic to who she is and what she values. And she is focused on what matters the most to her, not on what the world wants her to do. You too can be kind and generous and loving and pleasant and still be in control and still be assertive and still command that authority, that respect, and be successful and find ways that are also going to spark joy in your life, in your career, in your relationships. So my friends, please do learn assertiveness, because it will help you get to the next level in a way that feels great, that cultivates positive relationships, that gives you career and life fulfillment, that sparks joy in your life. And I can absolutely help you. That's the mission of assertiveway.com. So I encourage you to visit assertiveway.com/free. I have tons of free resources. I have a 40-minute course that teaches you all the basics of assertiveness. What is assertiveness? It's basically a skill, so I'll tell you that. How you can be, what are the 4 communication styles? How do they differ? What are the characteristics so you can figure out which one you use the most? What is the mindset of assertive people? What is the body language of assertive people? What are the expressions that assertive and non-assertive people use so that you can find that joy. You can communicate in a powerful, but also compassionate and kind way, but that earns you respect. And it's also going to boost your confidence. So check out assertiveway.com/free for all of these amazing resources that I carefully created for you. By the way, this course I'm talking about, more than 11,000 students have already taken, and they love it. So I really think you are going to love it as well. So check it out. My friends, if you haven't liked this video, if you want to support this channel, I really want more people to learn about assertiveness. I know a lot of people don't understand it very well, and they're in this world that is not going to serve them. So please do hit like button, subscribe to the channel, because then you will get notifications more or less once a week when a new video gets released. Put a comment below. Tell me what you think about what helps you feel more joy at work and in life. What gives you more joy and happiness. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Be confident, caring, my friends, and have a lovely day.